Welcome to the Ohio Family Engagement Leadership Summit. We are so glad you could join us in this final session on this day of professional learning meant to take family, school, and community partnership to the next level. My name is Hadley Bachman, and I will be this session's moderator. This session is number 19, AI, a tool for teachers that saves time and builds partnerships with families. If you have any questions, concerns, or technical issues, please message me privately in the chat at any time. If you would like contact hours for this session, a code will be provided at the end to enter into a request form. Please be on the lookout for this code as it will only be provided once. To ensure that all get the most out of today, we ask that all participants turn off their webcams and microphones. If you have questions for the presenter, please use the chat feature and I will pass them along at an appropriate time. You can also join the conversation on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag OHSummit24 to share your thoughts. Van and Wesley, I'm excited to learn from you this afternoon.
All right, thank you, Hadley. Nice to have you all here today. Welcome to our session, Artificial Intelligence, a tool to save your time and build partnership with families. I'm Dr. Fan Xu. I'm a senior learning designer at the Center on Education and Training for Employment. I've worked for more than 5 years on designing and delivering online learning experiences for diverse learners. And I got my PhD in learning technologies at OSU, and AI is one of my favorite research topics. And joining me today is my colleague, Wesley. So Wesley, it's your time.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wesley Owens. I'm a Family Engagement Research Associate here at the Ohio Statewide Family Engagement Center. I get to help design and lead in-person and online learning experiences for professional educators, and also for families now too. And prior to being part of the center here, I was a teacher for several years in a K-8 school. I'm glad to be with you all here today. And if you would like, you could in the chat, you can share who you are and where you're from. We just love knowing who's with us today.
All right. So we're going to start today by seeing what you have already know about AI and how do you feel about it. So we are going to use a polling tool called Mentimeter. So to get there, you can scan the QR code on the screen, or in a web browser, you can type in menti.com and use the code on the screen. I will also drop the link into, oh, Wesley, thank you for dropping the link. All right, while you are doing that, Wesley will show the people's what people are thinking.
Yeah.
In Mentimeter.
See a couple answers already. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over, make sure everyone's got a chance to get that code, but I'll change over to our Mentimeter so we can see that.
All right, our first question is, how familiar are you with AI? Give yourself a rating from 1 to 5, with 5 being an expert. All right. Mostly from 1 to 3. I know we'll have some expert in our audience. Don't be shy to show you are an expert here.
Okay, it looks like just about everyone has answered, maybe. Responses have slowed.
Yeah, we have.
So I'll move on to our second question.
Okay, so our second question is, what are some words that come into your mind when you think of artificial intelligence? Just type in a few thoughts in the 3 spot below. Okay, how about scary, useful? Okay. It's all different places in the spectrum. Confusing, Right, I say fake, amazing, time saver, uncertain, efficient, and helpful is always in the middle. All right.
Yeah, so like amazing and helpful and useful are some of the bigger ones, which means you're getting the most responses there.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing those. We'll come back to Mentimeter later here in our session. Let's go back to our presentation
All
and
right.
just, yeah, move on to the agenda here. Fan.
Yeah, so today is a perfect chance to get to know more about AI. Our agenda today include first a quick learning objectives of today's presentation, and our expert Wesley will go through some family engagement basics. Then we'll understand what AI is and what generative AI is, and how to use AI for family engagement. Then we'll have about 20 minutes to do some AI practices. Finally, we'll be ending by talking about safety considerations in using AI and sharing some useful resources, including our AI guidelines. All right, next slide.
All right, so here are our objectives for today. One, I can explain the definition of AI. Second, I can apply generative AI tools for family-school collaboration. And then third, I can reflect on the school's role to promote AI literacy and safety with children and families. So what is family engagement? So there's a lot of different ways we can define that. But we could say family engagement involves families, education programs, and community partners working together to help children and youth learn, grow, and prepare for their future. What does that look like? What does family engagement look like? Well, when we work well together, meaning the educators, communities, families, all children are launched to their full potential. What does it mean to work well together? Well, partnership includes communicating back and forth regularly between home and school. It also means actively figuring out the roles we can each play in supporting students' learning, their health and well-being, and their future planning. What are some other examples of family engagement? If you have some ideas, you can share that in the chat. There's lots of different examples of that. Is it partnering? Thank you, Missy. And if you have some more ideas or examples, you can continue to put those in the chat while I move on here to this slide of a shuttle launch. See regular communication from Megan. Thank you. Well, we know that children succeed when families, schools, school programs, and communities all work together. Helping our kids succeed is like working at NASA's mission control. So just like a space launch needs astronauts, scientists, and mathematicians to work together, we need schools, school programs, families, and communities to work together to help student learning take off. Everybody has a part to play if we want to have a successful launch. The most successful launches for our students come from when we coordinate, we communicate well. We listen to each other, we value and include the cultures of our families, we trust each other, we learn from each other, and when there are issues and things don't go as planned, we work together to get it right. So together, we collaborate much like mission control to help launch our children to success. It's always amazing to see a rocket take off, especially with all the factors going against it, like gravity. You know, it's the same for students. There's gravity forces, those events or those challenges that they, their families, and even educators must work against. And there's fuel, like those forces that ignite our collaboration and support our students' learning and well-being. So what makes a strategy effective when building partnerships? So we saw in the chat earlier, like partnering with each other. So there are some effective strategies that take us from like good partnerships to great partnerships. It starts with, well, we begin with starting early. So partnerships should begin before there are problems by anticipating and working proactively to address root causes. Effective strategies build relationships between families and school staff. Relationships take time to develop. They're built on a strong foundation of communication and respect. Effective strategies are strength-based. They value and respect families' cultures, values, skills, knowledge, and assets. Communication is more positive and effective when families' cultural practices and beliefs are believed to be important. Effective strategies are linked to student outcomes or their learning or their behavior. The strategies should be clearly and intentionally linked to supporting student outcomes. The strategy should help families understand how they can support their child's learning and positive behavior. Effective strategies share progress. They inform families about their child's progress in school and empower families to support their child's learning. Effective strategies use two-way communication. Ongoing two-way communication has positive effects for children. It involves giving information and receiving information. Effective strategies provide multiple opportunities or ways for families to engage. Families should have multiple ways to interact with the school and their children in support of student outcomes. Effective strategies are grounded in high expectations for students. So youth are motivated to hold high expectations for themselves when they hear of the high positive expectations their family and their school has for them. And effective strategies are sustained over time. So having a sustained focus and effort over time results in more family engagement. So that's just a little bit about, the importance of family engagement. Now we're going to get more into, how we can use AI, artificial intelligence, to help with family engagement.
Thank you, Wesley, for going through the family engagement basics. So according to a recent survey by Pew Research Center, there are 84 of public K-12 schools, K-12 teachers say there's no enough time during their regular work hour to complete their grading, lesson planning, paperwork, and replying work emails. Does this sound like you? You can raise your hand virtually. And although many teachers are aware of the importance of family engagement, other essential duties like grading or, communicating with their children take precedence over speaking with families and parents. In addition, sometimes teachers feel they run out of the best solution or need more skills to engage in certain situations. The strategies that Wesley shared are super helpful, and this is also where AI can play a role. So before we dive into how AI can be used to save your time and build family-school partnership, let's quickly talk about what exactly is AI. So yeah, AI is already working behind the scenes in our life, even if you don't realize it. You might have experienced this. So you search for a toy for your puppy online, and later, while scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, you see posts recommending similar dog toys, right? So that's AI at work. AI also helps with suggesting new shows you might like on Netflix or recommending products you might need on Amazon. So simply put, AI is when machines or computers mimic human thinking. Think of it as teaching a computer to learn from experience and perform tasks based on the data. So just like a child learns to recognize objects or understand language over time, AI systems are trained to do similar things by processing data. So here is a picture of CAPTCHAs. So unlike humans, a machine can digest vast amount of data. You have probably encountered CAPTCHAs like this that ask you to prove you are not a robot by finding all chihuahuas from a bunch of pictures of muffins. So this can be sometimes challenging for both humans and machines. But as AI gets better and better, AI can do this even quicker than humans. It can quickly find all chihuahuas in these pictures than human. But don't worry, AI has a long way to go to replace human. You might have seen those kind of slider puzzle captchas that ask you to slide the puzzle as fast as you can. Although AI is still doing better in the speed and precision, it has a long way to go to learn how to mimic the exact way that human moves the slider with the slight shakiness. So yeah, there is a long way to go for AI. And lately we have heard a lot about generative AI, just like ChatGPT, Meta AI, Copilot, Gemini. So those generative AI is just a type of AI that can create new things, including texts, images, music, or videos. Just imagine an artist who has learned a ton of artworks. So when they create something new, they're just not, copying, they are creating. So this is exactly what generative AI is. Those examples of text-based generative AI can, write stories, give recipes, make fitness plans, you name it. It can do anything. So today we are going to go through 5 easy ways to use AI to communicate with families and engage in meaningful family-school partnership. We have created this AI guideline for educators. You can scan the QR code to use the link or use the link to access the handout. So I'll post this link to our chat. All right, here we go. All right, so if you can access the handout, we'll be going through these 5 different ways of using AI. So on the handout, one side has tips of using AI. The other side has examples of tools to use. You can follow along on your own handout as well. So on the next slide, we'll have the first use of AI. All right, thank you, Wesley. So AI tools like Copilot can assist you in creating engaging communication content efficiently. You can begin with a basic outline of what needs to be included, and AI can expand, refine, and polish the content. Those tools can help you to, help you avoid jargon, fix grammar mistakes, or write at the proper language level. This makes it easier to maintain regular communication with families. Often, when you are doing this kind of task, a clear prompt is needed. We'll have time to practice this later in our breakout rooms. All right, on the next slide. So customizing comments to reflect each student's accomplishment and challenging in a report card can be time consuming, but it's very important. So tools like Magic Schools can help with the generation of thoughtful and personalized narrative comments based on each student's performance data and behavioral notes from the teacher. When using AI to craft report cards or other forms of student feedback, it's essential to ensure that the process aligns with legal and ethical standards to protect students' privacy. All right, on the next slide. So education sometimes include difficult conversations with families, whether it's regarding academic performances or addressing behavioral issues. There are tools like virtual speech that can provide different scenarios where users can do virtual role play with AI characters and practice how to handle different difficult conversations with families. However, most of those tools like virtual speech need subscriptions or through school lessons. But we can do this in a different way. For example, text-based AI tool like ChatGPT can generate scripts to be used to simulate conversations with parents. So ChatGPT also has the voice bot on the mobile phone app where you can talk to the bot and receive instant feedback. This will be helpful to build empathy, build effective dialogue strategy, and enhance the quality of communication. All right, on the next slide, there are AI tools like talking points. Those tools can enable effective communication by translating messages automatically. This allows you to directly send message with a family who speak diverse languages like Spanish, Somali, Arabic, Chinese, and so on. So AI can take care of the two-way translation, so you don't have to worry about the language barriers. All right, we'll also practice with talking points later. Talking points also offer deeper engagement through like translated voice messages and video captions. Earlier this month, we talked to a local school, and the principal told us like the teachers would prefer to have voice messages instead of textual messages, so that they can build more, deeper engagement with the family. However, most of the functions like this voice message function in talking points are only accessible through a school license. Although we'll not be able to use the voice message function today, we'll be able to practice with its text translation function later. All right, on the next slide. So lastly, AI presentation makers like SlidesGo help create appealing and professional slides for events like parent-school conferences in a minute. SlidesGo can generate a paragraph of text based on your prompt and generate relevant visuals like images. Just like many other AI image generator, the images that SlidesGo create are not perfect. For example, they are not very good at drawing humans' fingers. But these AI systems are still improving. We'll have time to explore these functions later. All right, so we have quickly went through the 5 different ways of using AI. Now we're going to have time to try out some of these apps or tools. All right, Wesley.
Yeah, thanks, Fan. So Fan just went through just a few different ways that you can use artificial intelligence to help you partner with families. And then we think that's one of the things that's missing right now in this era of AI. A lot of it is to help teachers in classrooms, but we're hopefully bringing some new ideas in how you can use it, how schools can use it, organizations can use it to connect with families at a greater level. So we're going to give everyone some time here to practice using these some of these tools that we've demonstrated here. You can use a computer or you can use a smartphone if you would like. And the way that this is going to work, we're going to divide into different breakout rooms. Each breakout room is going to be based on a type of strategy that you would like to practice. So so I'll just go through those breakout rooms. Breakout room is going to be about writing engaging newsletters or emails. So if you're interested in using AI to write as a communication tool in writing, you're going to go to breakout room 1. Breakout room 2 is about crafting personalized report cards. So coming up with a template and being able to implement student's name and other info. That'll be breakout room 2 if you're interested in trying that. Breakout room 3 is about preparing for stressful conversations. So if you would like to use an AI tool to practice having a conversation, you want to go to breakout room 3. Breakout room 4 is about using two-way translated communication. So trying out that Talking Points app is one thing you can try. And so, translating languages, that's breakout room 4. And then breakout room 5 is about creating slide presentations. In the chat, we've placed links to each of two instructions for the breakout room that you want to go to. When you click on that link, it's going to open up instructions on how to select an AI tool. And also, it'll give you a prompt that you can try as a practice. And then, of course, you're welcome to try your own prompts with any of the tools that you want to use. And we recommend that you read those responses, see what it gives you back. Do you like it? And then when we come back together, we'll be able to kind of share our experiences using that.
Yeah, and Lori, I see that you wanted to try several, but only will choose one. Yeah, we will provide all the 5 instructions for each room. So after our session today, you'll still be able to try them out by yourself.
Yeah, so when we go to our breakout rooms, first make sure you've opened up the one that you want to go to. Make sure you have those instructions. Then we'll open up breakout rooms. You'll be there. There'll be other people in that room too. Take some time to practice. You don't have to start talking to each other right away, but take some time to practice first. And then as a group, you can kind of discuss your experiences. And then we'll come back as a whole group and kind of share out those experiences. We'll have about 10 minutes of time. It's not that long, but hopefully you can get connected to an app and get some practice time in.
Thank you, Hallie, for creating the rooms. Now our 5 breakout rooms are ready, so feel free to choose one that you would like to try.
You should see, if you click on breakout rooms, you'll be able to choose the room that you want to go to. That should pop up somewhere on your Zoom screen. I forget exactly where, and you can join one. If you're having trouble finding where to join a breakout room, put in the chat what room you would like to go to, and we'll place you in that room.
All right, people are coming back. Hope you had a great practice with AI tools. So how's your practice? It's time to share your experience or your thoughts, anything you want to share. Here are some guiding questions on the screen, but feel free to share anything you want to share. We have 5 groups. I know for some groups we have limited people, but yeah, we can have each spokesperson for each group. And each group has 1 minute to share. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your experience with us.
So if you were in breakout room number 1, would someone like to kind of share your experience with those tools and those prompts? And you're welcome to come off mute, or if you want to type into the chat.
Yeah, feel free to type in.
It sounded like people were having some great experiences, thinking first time it was pretty cool and the different things it could do. But unfortunately, there were people that were getting blocked from work. And my work was one of those. The firewalls are very high. So yeah, I'll have to play with it at home. It sounded like some other people, but it sounds pretty impressive what they can do for newsletters and such.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we have
also in that group. And I think our district in the past, at least when I've been blocked on a website, if I go to them and say, hey, can I have access? They may consider that. So I don't know about you guys.
Thank you for sharing that.
I did see on the document there from group 1, someone said, took a prompt and turned it into a document worth sending out. And then someone liked AI for busy readers. Someone was just speaking up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into it a little bit more because I did not know that you could just say, write me a newsletter and that it would come up with ideas. I knew, yeah. So I knew like you could input text into busy readers or AI for busy readers, but I didn't know you could just say, create something. So it's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, when we were brainstorming the use of AI as a group at SEAT, so I think everybody loves it because it can be your second brain. When you run out of ideas, it can just give you some hints so that you can move forward. And yeah, we share different tools for Room 1, and all of these text-based generative AI, they have different styles. So if you have the chance to try all of them, you can see the difference between them. All right, and any thought from Group 2? Have anybody tried to craft a personalized report card using Magic School? No.
We did have one comment in the chat. I think this is from Group 1 about, coming up with a prompt. And now they know that they can, really break down that prompt pretty specific, like use a friendly tone. Yeah, so you can prompt the tool to converse with you or to write the newsletter in a certain tone.
The more detailed the prompt you give, the better result you can get from the generative AI tool. Yeah, and for Room 2, the Magic School tool is definitely a very useful one that you want to explore by yourself after the session. It's like kind of like an all-in-one space where teachers and administrators can do different tasks. And for our Room 3, anybody want to unmute and share your thoughts, experience, where AI can do better?
It took us a while to get started too because we had to download the app or re-log in, and I personally was having trouble just getting it to work quickly enough. But it seems really great for the conversation starters or how to have a difficult conversation with a team member. Gave it specific steps, and it'll stay in the history, so you can go back and look at it for reference or write it down somewhere else to prepare. So yeah, it was very good.
All right. Yeah, I see a comment in the chat as well, like having the trouble logging in. Can you share like what kind of specific trouble appear on the app? Is it about the email address or something else?
Yeah, I had the app prior and it didn't save my password, or it didn't save it correctly. So I would try and then I had to log into my email, and it was taking a while for the password to go into my email, and it was just the whole process.
Yeah, I can definitely understand. It can be time consuming to sign in and log in. Yeah, I always have troubles when I try to log in the phone version. And yeah, I hope you can have more time to play with it with the ChatGPT voice bot. It's pretty amazing. You can choose the voice you like, and the voice are pretty good. And when you try to talk to the bot, and it can really do the role play and give you very decent and sometimes surprising answers. So do try more afterwards. All
Yeah.
right.
So all those interested in more than just the one tool that you looked at, those links are in the chat there, where you can check out some more of those tools, and then also that guide that we shared earlier that we could probably share again here. That'll give you some more tools. But we want to get to the part talking about AI safety considerations, and Fan has some important info about safety and AI.
All right. Okay, so AI is here to stay. It's our job to ensure that our children use it safely. So one big concern of using AI, if Wesley, if you click the slides, it will show up. Yeah, thank you. So one big concern of using AI is something called deepfakes. So these are fake images or videos created by AI that look real, and they can be used to spread false information or even for cyberbullying. So that's why it's important for us to monitor how our kids are interacting with AI and talk to them about the impact of creating and sharing these kind of contents online. Secondly, we all know that AI collects data. So it's a good idea to talk to your kids about protecting their privacy and being careful with what to share online. And lastly, there's another thing we need to be aware of. AI can simulate relationships like AI boyfriend or AI girlfriend. While they may seem harmless, they can lead to unrealistic expectations about real relationships or even emotional detachment from the real world. So as parents, it's pretty important for us to keep open communication with our kids about these virtual connections and remind them that real life relationships are what truly matter. So in sum, we need to stay informed of how our kids is interacting with AI and set clear boundaries of how they can use AI tools. And lastly, maintaining open conversations with our kids. All right. So not only we educators, but families also play an equally important role in creating a safe AI environment. So we also created AI guideline for families, and we translated it into 11 different languages. So we are sharing a link in the chat where you can go to the folder and find the AI guideline for parents and the translated version. We encourage you to use these resources for yourself and also to share with your family connections to help them to know more about AI. All right. So today we have learned a lot about AI and had a little practice with some tools. Let's return back to the Mentimeter pool and see how ready we are to use AI. If you scan the QR code or use the code, I'll share the link again to our chat. Then you can have the question about how ready you are. All right.
I'll leave this code here up for another moment and QR code, and then I'll switch over to look at our results here. They're coming in, so I'll go ahead and switch over.
Right, Hadley, thank you for seeing that. Yeah, it's the same Mentimeter link at the previous one. So if it's still on your phone, it's the same one. All right, it's good to see many of us are ready to start use AI and know something more about AI, and we'll need a lot of practice. Yeah, still some conservative thought about AI, but definitely okay. We still have a long time to get along with AI, and we'll have the chance to know more about it.
Yeah, just like with anything else, like the more you practice it, the better you'll get at doing it. So continue to practice and try those things, and you'll be even more prepared.
Right. All right, let's see if there is any change about your thoughts and feelings about AI. So we can do the same thing, typing 3 words in the spots below. Let's see if there is any changes. Helpful, accessible, definitely time saving, entertaining. Yeah, as you know, virtual reality tools also use AI as a support, so those can definitely be entertainment tools. Exciting, fun, amazing, efficiency, interesting, and easy. Yeah, it's not a hard thing to start. So as long as you want to try, AI has a lot of surprise. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
We have just maybe a quick moment. If anyone has a good question, that would be for the good of the group. We have just a moment here because our time is winding down. Are there any questions that we can answer for the good of the group? Maybe if you do have questions that come up later, you can email either myself or Dr. Fan And we could put our emails in the chat, make sure that you get those. We have a couple of things that we want to promote here that our center is doing. One of those is called Hands-On Webinars. These are a new series designed for K-12 educators, including regional, district, building, and classroom-based staff. They're interactive sessions that will provide practical strategies to connect and collaborate with all families. So don't miss out on this opportunity to make a meaningful impact. And I have a link to that in the chat. And you can see we have a few of those coming up. First one is on October 15th. That's engaging multilingual families. And then if you go to that website, you'll see how to register for those. We as a center will put out a newsletter for educational professionals called News and Guidance. I'm actually one who kind of heads up that, getting that out bi-monthly, so every other month. And next one comes out here in October is next month, right? So just here in a couple weeks. And it features different resources and strategies for educational professionals to use. So if you go to the link that's in the chat or scan that QR code, you can sign up. You can also look at past issues. We think these would be very beneficial for you and your school or your program. And that is all from Fan and myself. Our moderator, Hadley, has just a couple of words to wrap us up.